a minute. I'm trying to look up the dates. Danny Garcia defeated Terence Crawford in 2006 in the amateurs, 21-20, pretty close. T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live, 4:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. T Street is on his insomniac right now, and sometimes I feel I do my best work when I haven't slept. So Terence Crawford and Danny Garcia got into some beef today. Well, technically yesterday, because basically Terence Crawford wants to fight, Danny Garcia, or he's called Danny Garcia out. And this is the most ratchet that Terence Crawford, in my opinion, has been as far as, calling somebody out, especially in social media. For example, he was clowning him about fighting, Rod Soka. Danny Garcia responded by saying, I'm no, Yurkis Gamboa. And, okay, put it this way. I'm going to read what he wrote. Danny Garcia, that stiff guy y'all paid so you didn't have to fight his... Okay, let me read this. Danny Swift, that same stiff guy y'all paid so you didn't have to fight his guy. Look, I'm not them old guys you've been fighting, you know that. Now, it's a little, grammar a little messed up, but the point he's trying to make is, Danny Garcia paid Victor Postol's step-aside money, and believe it or not, Victor Postol fought on the undercard of Garcia versus Peterson. It was untelevised, because that was the part of the step-aside agreement, that he would get the Danny Garcia fight, but then Danny Garcia moved up in weight. Therefore, he got to fight Lucas Matisse, meaning Victor Postol. Then, just one more fight after that, which was, 8 months later, he got to fight Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford beat him with ease, and Terence Crawford is now the WBC and WBO champion at 140 pounds, unified. Danny Garcia was unified at 140 pounds with the WBC, the WBA Super World, and the Ring Magazine title. Now, he just couldn't make the weight, and if that fight that he had with Lamont Peterson, would have been for the title, he would have been, technically, would have had 3 belts. So you can't take that away from him. Now, I understand that Danny Garcia has some gifts on his career. Mauricio Herrera was a gift, and that old fight with Ashley Theophane, in my opinion, was a gift. But Danny Garcia is still good, and he gets better with every fight. You can't say that he doesn't. When it comes to the Lamont Peterson fight, I personally felt that he won that fight. But I'm not the type of guy that's going to argue with you and say, no, he didn't. You don't know what you're talking about. Hey, that's your opinion, and you're entitled to it. It's your opinion, And I'm going to be like, okay, all right, I can see how you can say he won. But my opinion is Danny Garcia won. Terence Crawford is at 140 pounds. Danny Garcia is at 147. If Terence Crawford wants to get the fight, he would have to move up to 147 pounds. Trust me, it's not going to be a catchweight. Danny Garcia is not fighting in no catchweight. He's not fighting in no catchweight. It's going to have to be at the full 147 pounds. Now, will the fight ever happen? Maybe, but it's not happening no time soon. It's not going to happen in 2017. I doubt maybe it would happen in 2018. Maybe. And the reason why I say this is because Top Rank and Al Heyman are working together. They are, they're not, not dealing with each other anymore. They settled the lawsuit, and they are working, they are negotiating fights with each other. For example, they negotiated, they were trying to negotiate Manny Pacquiao versus Adrian Broner. They were trying to negotiate Danny Garcia versus Manny Pacquiao, but, it didn't happen. When it comes to Danny Garcia is supposed to be fighting Andre Berto, or rumored to be fighting Andre Berto, and then if he wins that fight, rumored to be fighting Keith Thurman to unify on Showtime pay-per-view in either January, February, or March. I doubt January, though. If Terence Crawford and their team are really serious about wanting Danny Garcia, and, they want to move from 140 pounds, after they pretty much said that if the Pacquiao fight was to happen, it would have to happen at 140. But let's just entertain it. If he's serious, if he wants to put Danny Garcia into a box, into a corner, he is the WBC champion at 140. Danny Garcia is the WBC champion at 147. I'm sure, if possible, the WBC would allow, if Terence Crawford and his team went to the WBC and said, listen, Terence Crawford want to move up to fight Danny Garcia. Can he be the #1 contender at 147 pounds since Amir Khan's not using it? And technically, somewhat y'all did the same thing with him. You see what I'm saying? So he can box him in the corner to where the WBC can go through the whole shit they was going through with Canelo and Golovkin. And basically, either Danny Garcia would have to try to pay Terence Crawford some step-aside money. He would have to either fight a unification, to avoid the mandatory spot, or, call his bluff. Either he has to fight you, or you vacate the belt. Simple as that. That's how easy, I view boxing politics. How to eliminate shit like that. So, in my personal opinion, they're not going to fight. Not anytime soon. They're just talking shit to each other. Building up maybe a future fight that I doubt will likely ever happen. You have to think how Angel Garcia, who is the manager of Danny Garcia, the father, trainer, and manager of Danny Garcia, you can tell that he wants to make as much money for his son, as possible. And he wants to avoid as much risk as possible. It looks like to me that they're cool with them, $1.5 million and $75 million paydays. And Angel Garcia, Philly dude, I'm thinking, like how, like Philly dudes be thinking. He's thinking like, we're going to keep fighting, we're going to keep making that 1 mil, 1.5, take a few big fights here and there. We're going to be eating, Maybe they cool with that. Andre Berto said recently that, I forgot where I read it. He said recently that, which is true, that it's a gamble, not taking that career high payday. For both Adrian Broner and Danny Garcia, it's a gamble because you don't know, if you might lose your next fight, and then your stock drops a little bit. Then what happens is if you lose that'll be 2 fights basically where you made under what was offered to you to fight one person, and you would have been able to go after history. The Terence Crawford situation on why he didn't get Manny Pacquiao, there's multiple reasons. Multiple. One is that he's not ready to move up to 147 pounds yet. He's not ready to fight at a catch weight or anything. Also, number 2, the marketability is just really not there. And you can argue that, is Jesse Vargas more marketable than him? Well, they can play off of that Mexican fan base. They can play off of that. And the Philippine fan base and the Mexican fan base. And the last time, of course, he fought but I was going to say Brandon Rios. I was going to say that pay-per-view did good, but it didn't. It was over in Macau. But over in Macau, it did good. The pay-per-view by far was not a failure or a flop. Just to us, as far as pay-per-view numbers in the United States, it flopped. But with that Macau deal, they made a lot of money. Macau is 7 times, brings in 7 times more money than Las Vegas. I believe it's 7. It might be 10. I forgot what I read. But basically, it's the Las Vegas of the world. Of the world. What else? Like I said, I really don't believe it's going to happen. Let me see what else Danny Garcia said, because once I saw it, people were like, what do you think it is, and all kind of stuff like that. And I said, man, they're not fighting. No, they're not fighting. This is what Danny Garcia said to Terence Crawford. Your fight did 50K buys, LOL. If you want to do real numbers and get defeated, tell Bob to call out. Let me retweet that. I don't know why I didn't retweet this. There's another one he said to Terence Crawford. You doing what I did 3 years ago. I ain't no little Gamboa or Steph Postol. I in careers. Check my record. Talking shit. And truth be told, that's pretty much, what it is. that's pretty much what it is, you know. He's Terence Crawford, you know, whether you like him or not, you know, like he's not on Danny Garcia's level. He's not. He's not. You know, but basically they only tweeted each other, you know, a few times, and then the last tweet that Terence Crawford sent, you know, was who better Gambo or Rod Sulker? And Danny Garcia didn't respond. Like I said, I don't really like covering topics like this, but I was asked to, and plus, you know, it was a good topic to kind of clear some things up, just in case there's people out there thinking that this shit can possibly happen. It's not happening. But I'm not going to have a 20-minute video on this. T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. It's funny. It's 4:20 a.m. It's 4:20 a.m. I'm going to do one more video, and I've been doing a lot of paperwork behind the scenes. So after I get all this shit done, then I'm going to be doing more videos a day. I'm only doing like an average of probably like 2. You know, but I'm going to do more videos a day. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. I'm T Street Controversy, T Street Controversy Live.